I don't mean financially. I mean here and here and just here. Like there's been something that I had longed for so many years, being in that ditch that I was in for that amount of time, where I had lost my mother and I was forced to be something that I wasn't. I was forced to be someone I wasn't. I lost a best friend. I lost everything. I lost me. And again, I couldn't be more appreciative to my baby now. Like, he is, hopefully you stay. He has been now that I think about it, he has literally been the light that I really needed. And oh my God, my boobies look big. I'm a big girl, people. Can't help it. Too fucking bad. Um, no, for real though. Like, he has been the greatest influence on my life since day one. Literally since day one. He was, and who was it that described it so eloquently and perfect? Angela. I am so sorry if I'm gonna just, Angela Bennett. I've been watching a lot of her lately too because we have a lot in common. I'm gonna put you in a different spot as I talk. But I've been watching a lot of her lately because we've been through a lot of the same shit. Oh, my sewing tin. But we've been through a lot of the same shit, and she described, and it was so eloquent how she said it. Have you ever met this one person that you just knew was just gonna change your life? And that sounded like a really bad infomercial. Oh my God. But it's true. It's God's honest truth. The day I was not, I never really have been the type to be like, hey, sexy, what's you doing? And this guy just downstairs next door, kind of the dude next door. And I just, hey, what's your name? I just knew something as soon as I'd seen him. It was like, click. This person is going to do wonders for you. He has. He literally has done so much. And there's so much that I don't tell him that, he knows I appreciate him. I think he knows why I appreciate him. He does a lot, not just for himself, but for me, for the dogs, for us as a unit. But I also appreciate him for pulling me out of that grave and out of that Oh, God, I can't even describe it anymore. Like, everything has been so great. It's hard to really put myself back into that mentality, even though it happens. But he has pulled, sorry, he has pulled me from a very dark, dirty, disgusting hellhole. Now, because hell would probably be like a walk through the fucking tulips compared to what I'd gone through. But this man alone has done it. And now getting back to former life, when I realized how far and how low I was, I'd watched, started looking up goth people. And I really got a chuckle because there was this one girl, rest her soul, Dumpster Dolly. She, heavyset girl, didn't give a fuck. And I saw so much of myself in her. And I'd seen so much of myself since with certain ones, and now I've reached out to at least one other YouTuber, and Skull Girl is an amazing woman. She is so very intelligent, so very down to earth, and I love her. Just in the community, in the goth community, I love her. Like, but again, Dumpster Dolly is, rest her soul. That's the only way I can say it without crying, because I felt comfortable watching her videos. I was not afraid to be me. I started to really dye my hair black again. I started to do my makeup weird again. Yeah, I'd gotten shamed for it. What, you look like you're dead. You need to go to the beach with me. You know, you're not the girl I met. You're bigger. She really drove it home for me when I realized I had sunk pretty low. Like, really fucking low. I have a nicotine addiction. I shouldn't talk when I'm vaping. Better. But I've been lower than that. And that was the day that my home state of Florida literally ripped my heart out of my chest. They took the boys. I'm not going to sit here and say that I wasn't at fault. As a mom, I probably fucked up. I don't really remember because I was in such a bad headspace, in a bad place, and I had to do certain things to keep myself from getting harmed. I mean, physically hurt, harmed. It was like I dreaded doing anything, going outside. I dreaded it. I dreaded having to see them. I dreaded everything. I was so depressed and so not me that when I started to find myself again, and it started little by little, 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 and then meeting my current baby, my current boo, and then just starting to grab and grab and grab, and then going to cosmetology and learning all I could and getting the fuck out of that house, getting away from that shit, to where when I finally pulled myself to that point where I was able to be rescued, I left. I kicked them out. I didn't want that anymore. I didn't want the toxicity. I didn't want the shaming. And it wasn't just body shaming. It wasn't just style shaming. I was being shamed just for being goofy. Making coffee in the morning, I was shamed for it. Because it wasn't the right amount of sugar. Wasn't the right amount of, wasn't, and and yet, the more I look back, the more I realize I wasn't crazy. I was surviving. Just the shell of me was just surviving what I could and any way I could so that I could see tomorrow. Because tomorrow was a day closer for me to see my boys. And tomorrow was, that day. Tomorrow was that day. And now that I've had that day every day, it's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. I love it so much. And, when life happens and you're away from doing videos for a year, something must be going right. And I've always dreamed of that. So now, a year later, I'm working on myself. I'm working on a really great job that I hope and pray can turn into a fairly decent career. And I'm not just saying pay-wise. I mean, there's empathy where I work. There's, I come home, empathy. I go to work, empathy. And it's not like the fake, it's legit. Like, dude, I've been there. I started where you are now. I know that feeling of being overwhelmed. And then I come home and it's butting of the minds and this is what happened and this is what happened and this is what happened and it's talking, it's feeling, it's life. I can be me. I let him be him. He wants to listen to fucking Eminem and fucking, I don't know, Real Big Fish. I don't even think he likes that band, but it just off the top of my head, if he wanted to dress like a fucking ska boy and listen to fucking 1920s music, do you, boo? But you guys get to actually see me for once. Not the shell, not me. Just trying to move along and trying to find myself and trying to find my place in life. You see where I've found my place in life, where I'm not 100%, but I'm getting there. I've never been 100%, so, hey, even if I get up to 85%, I'm good with it. Fucking A, I'm good with it. But it's interesting. I look at one hand, I had it all, but it wasn't. I had it all, but it wasn't what the all I was going for. It wasn't the all that I had been told about growing up. And now the other hand, I have most, and I'm totally fine with it. And again, like I said, soon, hopefully, I will have it all. And I will have at least my oldest in my life. And I will be in his. And I have this amazing human in my life who has brought other amazing humans in my life to bring me back. And okay, and to really be this, to be happy, and to know what actual happiness is. And I get it. Everybody goes through shit, especially nowadays. Everybody's been going through shit. Like, everybody. But, part of it. But when you can really grasp life and you realize, okay, yeah, there are days that I'm really, really down and I'm really, really feeling shitty and horrible, and it's making me feel outwardly shitty and horrible. There's always that little spark inside that says, yeah, but look at the good. Look at what you got. Look at the best that you've ever had. Look at everything that you've ever done. Granted, not 100% of it worked out 100% of the time, but they're still there. This beautiful, immaculate, wonderful fucking stranger who came into your life fattened you up a bit, brought you back to being human, pulled you out of a grave when you were so far below 6 feet that you, even if you wanted to, you had no more strength to crawl out. And yet they crawled in to pull your ass out. Look at all of that. And it's 50-50. PTSD, I've been diagnosed with it. 2 different states have diagnosed me. My home state and now the one I'm currently in. But then I don't leave the house anymore. I mean, if I have to, it's maybe like a 5-minute walk to the store and then a 5-minute walk back. And that's rare. Because my boo is a wonderful person. He understands, he sees. I mean, for fuck's sake, he saw a lot of what I was going through. He didn't say a lot, but he'd seen a lot. And I knew he had seen it. I knew he had seen how just dark. And I don't mean like, the good kind, like having a picnic at the graveyard, dyeing your hair black, black nail polish, black eyeliner, black lipstick, black hair, or black eyebrows that you draw and that, you piss somebody off, they'll run after you with an eraser. I mean, like the bad. I never realized how thick my skin was. Never. And thank you, Boo, because I know you're going to watch this. I don't say it enough, and I may as well put it on a public forum for the whole world to hear, but I appreciate you. You have done so much more for me than I have ever been able to tell you. And even though right now you're at work busting your ass, and I hope not hurting your back. But there has been a lot that this person has done for me, and I truly, 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 truly. Okay, this is what happens after you eat. But I truly do thank and thank you, and I wish that this lasts forever. I really do. I mean, yeah, there was actually one video I did, and it was a haul. It was probably the darkest video I had, because I let you guys see how horrible I looked, how horrible I felt. That was the deadest I had been. And that was actually, oddly enough, that video, I think I did a mini Palm Beach haul or something like that. And I was showing off some random shit that I had got, literally shit, that I had gotten from whatever the fuck his name was. And it was like 3 days I took to make that video. And I think it was maybe a week. I know it took me a little while to complete it. But that time that I did that video, my now significant other was nowhere near. He was north, now, that way. He was north of me, about hour and 45 minutes, hour and a half, trying to get his life together. And just trying to find his place in the world. And find the one that was just gonna give him that oomph. And hug him and kiss him and love him. Because he has so much love to give. And nobody did. I'm kind of glad. Because he is my favorite person in the world. He literally, I mean, obviously my kids, they've always been my favorite, but grown-up wise, like, you know, above the age of 20. No offense, anybody. But he literally is my most favoritist person. And not to say that none of my friends were there for me through, because they all were. They really were. And going back to losing a very, very dear best friend of almost 30 years. If they would have seen what was happening prior and after, we may still be friends. Do I blame myself? Yeah. But under duress, you're going to do things that you don't really want to do. And it's not that I chose one over the other. It was kind of chosen for me. And I feel bad that I'm not in that person's life. Not the bad one. The good one. That I fucked it up. Do I actually know what really happened? No. The stories that were thrown around and given to this person, maybe 10% of it was true, but there was a whole other back thing to it. And I get it. You know, I don't blame them at all. I really don't. All I know is that they have lost people that they were very close to, and I grieve for them. Because I know, like, I knew the person that they lost. I knew, you know, the excitement that they've had, and again, that's something I wish I could have shared. On my end, it's water under the bridge. I just wish I could tell them what really happened from my point of view. Maybe in due time, maybe not. Oh, baby. I'm sorry about my yawning too, guys. Like, I work really hard for the 8 hours that I do work, and it is kind of trying. It is mentally tiring to me. But I have a pretty fucking awesome job. I work for a very large company that works for an even larger, multiple larger companies that we all know and love and use. Like, everybody in the world knows the company that I work for. I cannot say. But if it wasn't for my boo, I don't know where I would be. I don't know if I would be to this point of stability that I'm at. Mentally and physically, financially, so on and so forth, but mainly mentally. I am at such a good point that all the little bad that does happen, and I mean little, it makes me really, truly appreciate everything a lot more. But I have taken an hour of your time. I hope you guys like the video. I hope you look back at some of my older ones and see the ginormous change between being very soft-spoken, timid, in a box. I would have to do things behind their back, dress a certain way behind their back, to I do this shit all the time. I dress this way all the time because my baby cool, my baby cool, my baby cool with it. The funny, the geeky, the weird, the sporadic. This is me. This is what I was before the bad time, my former life. It almost feels, and my beliefs are coming back too, but it does feel like my parents watch over me. And this is my last thing, but yeah, I do feel like my parents are watching over me, and that I wouldn't have suffered through what I'd suffered. For me not to come out the other end a fuck ton stronger. And for me to realize, because I'm normally very loud, very boisterous, and fuck the world, and fuck you, 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 and you're cool. But don't think I've smiled this much in probably any of my videos. And for this moment in time that I'm recording for you guys right now, and you see the giddy, the weird, the happy, the silly, and the me. Again, I hope you guys realize that life is a very, very precious thing. And when you finally get to that plateau and you can look out and you see the wonders that are spread out right in front of you, you can't go any further. You could, but why? It's not that it's not worth it. It's totally worth it. The view is amazing. Life is pretty good. So, with that being said, thank you guys. I'm here. I will try my hardest to start putting more videos out because I do want to do something with the channel, and I think I have a pretty good idea of what I want to accomplish. So, I love you guys. Thank you for watching my hour and 5-minute fucking insanity trip of happy and melancholy all wrapped in one. What a funk. But you guys are awesome. If you've stuck around this long or if you're new, sweet. Hi. I love you. You know what? I'm not going to be the basic YouTuber and like and subscribe because you know what? I don't care if this ends up being my own personal vlog that I look back on or that I send to my children. Cool. If I blow up and I'm a fucking YouTuber like Black Friday or Angela, I am so sorry if I Bennett or Bassett. I can't remember. My memory is pretty bad with names. But if I blow up and I become a decent YouTuber, maybe because something will resonate with somebody else, how others' bad times have resonated with me and made me really dive back